Hafaday, good evening. Welcome to my ASMR channel. Tonight, I thought we would do a soft-spoken ASMR video. In light of everything that's going on in the world right now, I don't know why I'm smiling. I'm just trying to be peaceful with my demeanor and trying to be positive, but this is an intense time right now for all of us. Personally, I've been experiencing a lot of anxiety, and I know that other people have different situations than I do. We all have our own different issues to deal with where we are in our parts of the world. Right now, my heart feels for Guam, the island where I am from. I worry about the resources available. I worry about military presence and bringing more of this thing into our community. I worry about my relatives. I worry about the elderly. I worry about the sick. And I just hope that everybody will be okay. And during all this, I thought, what can I do to help maybe alleviate some of people's anxiety? And something that works a lot for me to calm myself down is to watch ASMR videos. So, with all that in mind, I've been wanting for a long time to create my own ASMR channel. Still experimenting with my calming voice and hoping this is doing anybody any good listening to this right now. But I thought we could just spend a little time together, calming, peaceful, relaxed activity. Something that relaxes me is reading. So I was looking through my bookshelf of books that I thought we could read together, and of course this is open on my shelf at all times. It is Bamalau Guahan, Women in Guam History. So this is a book made by Guampedia, the online encyclopedia of Guam. And I had the pleasure of helping with the editing process of this book, so it's very special to my heart. And one story that sticks out to me that I leave, sometimes I'll just pick a different page of this to leave open up on my shelf so I can just look at it, because there's a lot of beautiful artwork in here. I'm just pausing because I realize I need to tone it down for ASMR. And this one story sticks out to me: The Young Maidens that Saved Guam. So this is one of our legends, and I want to read it to all of you to wind down and just not be so anxious for a little bit. So, without further ado, I will get a sip of water and let's get reading together. Okay, let's get comfy. Wearing my jammies so we can relax together. It's nighttime here in California. It's 10:20 p.m. So let's read. The Young Maidens that Saved Guam. Did you ever notice the odd shape of Guam, the southernmost island of the Mariana Islands in Micronesia? It looks as though large bites were taken from either side. The island is fairly wide at both ends and narrow in the middle. The Chamorro people have a legend about how Guam got its unusual shape. Antes na tiempo, a long time ago, the ancestors of the modern-day Chamorros came to the Marianas, a mighty race of people. They were called the Tautamotna, which means the people of before. It is said that the Tautamotna were giants, very clever and wise, and that they possessed magical powers. During that time, a group of fishermen who fished in Hagatnya Bay noticed that the mouth of the bay was growing larger and larger quite quickly. They could not understand what was causing it to grow. Similarly, just making sure it's still recording. Similarly, a group of fishermen from Pago noticed that Pago Bay was growing larger and larger. It seemed that the center of the island was being eaten away on both sides. The people could no longer ignore what was happening. The land between Hagatnya and Pago Bay was becoming narrower each day. They realized that if this trend continued much longer, the island would soon become two separate islands. A meeting was called to bring together all the wise Tautamotna. After comparing their observations, everyone agreed that something had to be done, and quickly. They realized there must be an answer about what was causing the narrowing center of Guam, but unfortunately, no one knew what it was. The group disbanded without knowing quite what to do. A few days later, a Pago fisherman was out early in the morning doing his day's work when he spotted a giant fish. The fisherman, curious to find out more about the large creature, tried to approach it. As he neared, he saw that it was eating big chunks of land. But when he came even closer, the giant fish saw him and quickly swam away. The fisherman ran to tell everyone about the giant fish that he had seen chewing away at the land in Pago Bay. When they heard his account, the people were outraged and vowed to fend off the giant fish. Early the next morning, all of the strong men of Guam gathered their weapons and started out on their mission. They were going to stop the giant fish from chewing through the island. Hagatnya and Pago Bays were filled with canoes of fishermen and others who wanted to help. The men paddled into the bay looking for the terrible fish. Some searched along the coral reef, while others looked in the deep ocean outside the reef. Shoot, I lost my spot. The men searched for hours, but no giant fish was seen. As nightfall came, everyone returned home filled with disappointment. The search for the giant island-eating fish continued for many days. Enthusiasm to find it lasted a long time, but no matter how hard the men searched, the fish eluded them. The news of the failure to find and destroy the fish The news of the failure to find and destroy the giant fish spread from village to village. Some of the young maidens heard the news and were fascinated by the efforts to catch the fish. The young women talked about the giant fish whenever they gathered to wash their hair and rinse it with fresh water scented with lemons. Their favorite spot to gather for this task was at the Hagatnya Springs. When they finished, the pool would be covered with lemon peels. Doesn't that sound beautiful? One day, a young maiden in Pago noticed these same peels floating in Pago Bay. She was puzzled by their appearance. After some thought, she realized that the giant fish must have eaten a hole all the way from under the island, from Pago Bay to Hagatnya Springs. She told the other maidens that must be where the giant fish was hiding. The next day, the maidens gathered at the Hagatnya Springs. The maidens then decided they would catch the fish themselves. Cutting off their dark tresses, they wove a net with their long black hair. Because their hair had magical powers, they knew their net would have magical powers too. When they wove, they began to sing. They sang for hours, and as they continued to sing, the net grew larger and larger. Even the giant fish could hear their singing from underwater. Enchanted by the sound of their beautiful voices, the fish swam out from its hiding place to listen to the singing maidens. As the fish approached the mouth of the spring, the maidens grew closer to the fish, still singing and carrying their net of hair. Suddenly, they spread their magic net over the spring and dived into the pool surrounding the fish. The giant fish was trapped and could not escape. In triumph, the maidens summoned some of the men to help dispose of the giant fish. With their wisdom, magic, and beautiful singing, the young maidens had saved Guam. So this book was adapted from the Legends of Guam booklet from 1962. Just putting that out there. But this story is really beautiful to me, especially right now during everything that's going on in the world and everything going on in Guam. Right now, more than ever, our strength lies in our ability to connect with each other, to care for each other, to save our community, to come together, weave our hair, weave our nets, and take care of each other. I am so grateful for all the people out there on the front lines right now, healthcare workers, service workers of all kinds, families who are staying home and doing the responsible thing. I just want everybody to be okay. And I feel like the more we weave together and connect, the better we're going to come out of this. So thank you for spending some time with me this evening. And I am sending love and positivity to you all during this time of a lot of anxiety. And yeah, thanks for watching.